Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Taj Factor. I have my favorite mug with me today. It says, oh shit. So there's that. I'm just drinking green tea per usual. And so today I wanted to come to y'all with a video about addiction, clearly. And so let's just jump right into it. So to me, I like to start with like definitions. On this channel, we talk about the hard stuff, but we not only talk about like dealing with it, we talk about solutions for it and just the existence of it, where it comes from. I like to get to the root of the problem, because only when you dig out the roots can new things take place. New things take its place and bloom into something beautiful. So let's start with the root: addiction. What is addiction? So when I think of addiction, I automatically think dependency and escape. Those are like the two things that came to mind right away when I reflected on this. So when you're addicted to something, you are dependent upon it as an escape from the reality, or what you have created as your reality inside of your mind, what the ego has identified with for years, months, however long. The addiction has been prevalent in your life. So I think the first occurrences of addiction start in childhood. So when you're weaning a baby off of like a pacifier, or you're weaning a baby off of a bottle, you have to wean the baby slowly, because you can't take the baby from this state of giving them a binky, shoving a binky in their mouth when they're crying, or when they're just to keep them occupied, to keep them content. And so you can't go from doing that to all of a sudden expecting the baby to self-soothe all the time, when this whole time you've been giving the baby a crutch. And so I like to think of that with adults and addiction, right? So let's say, for instance, we'll touch on a few different types of addictions. So there are addictions to food, addictions to sex, to porn, to drugs and alcohol, of course, addiction to work. That's one addiction that I feel like is not talked about enough. Is still an addiction, because ultimately you're using that work as an excuse often to escape from sitting with your, excuse my French, but sitting with your shit. And so we have to recognize that as one. We just have to do it. We have to start normalizing the fact that you don't always need to be working, and you shouldn't always feel the need to work. And that's something that I had to work through. And so we will touch a little bit on my addictions that I've dealt with, and kind of go from there. I like to be transparent, because this is a channel about life, and I feel like you can't talk to people about life if you're not going to be real. What's the point? So this is what you get here. So basically, addictions come from a need. You look up one day and it started with maybe once or twice a week, once or twice a month. And then you look up and you're doing it every day, sometimes multiple times a day, whatever that thing is for you. And you do it because it brings you that comfort. When you don't want to hear those thoughts, when you don't want to feel those emotions, when you don't want to sit in it, when you don't want to sit in that hurt, that pain, and you don't want to face it, you have something to escape to. So it's like, why not? Video games, that's another one I thought about. So it's like, why not? And that is very problematic. And it, on a scientific level, y'all know I have a background in science, so I have to go a little deeper into it. We are humans who are made up of chemicals, chemical compositions. They drive all the reactions in our body. Hormones play a large part in our metabolism overall. Everything that goes on, a lot of it is dependent upon hormones. And so two of the prevalent ones that come to mind with addiction are dopamine and serotonin. So those are two that they give you basically encouragement to continue to do the behavior. They're feel good. Dopamine's a feel good hormone. So when you take drugs, there are certain drugs that stimulate their release and prevent like your the body from wiping the rest of the remainder of it out of circulation, to keep it in circulation, like antidepressants and all of that. Serotonin, there are antidepressants that are serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which is a fancy way of saying they leave the serotonin in the circulation to be taken up by the cells instead of wiped out, which is the normal functioning of the body. You know, we have too much of something to keep the body in balance. It wipes out the extra and we take what we need. And so that's what addiction does. The food, the drugs, the sex, anything you're addicted to is producing these hormones and also giving you an altered state of mind to where you don't have to focus. You're not in the right mind to even focus on the fact that you had a traumatic childhood, that you are stressed about work, or that you are just stressed in general, or just down and out about whatever it is in your life. So that's basically why people begin to be addicted. And it's a process that can happen so quick. And I've seen it so many times in my own life. So I feel like this is a perfect time to go ahead and touch on the addictions that I've dealt with. I've never been addicted to drugs or anything, but I have been addicted to relationships, as in like the people I'm in a relationship with. And I realized that a little while back, and I've had a food addiction for multiple years, y'all. And I did not even know it until I won't say completed my healing, because we continuously go through trauma. Healing is a lifelong process, but until I got to the bulk of my healing, to resolving all the past things, most of the past things, and kind of catching up, basically, I didn't realize that I had a food addiction until that point, because I noticed that the need for sugar, it was sugar specifically for me. If you know me, you know I've told you that I have an issue with cookies. And when I say that, it's very, it sounds like a joke, but it's very serious. It's like, I will eat a whole pack of the party size, not family size, party size Oreos, right? And that's poison. Let me not even get on that soapbox. But I will eat a whole roll or two in one sitting of Oreos, and it's impulsive. It's like my brain is just like, ooh, more. And I can imagine that's probably what happens with other types of addictions. It's like, ooh, I just need it. I don't know, it just feels so good. And so I've dealt with food addiction, and I realized something dropped off my bed. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But anyway, I realized that because now I don't require sugar anymore. I don't need it. If I find myself wanting it, it's almost a trigger for me to think, okay, what am I trying to escape from? Because I'm not crazy about sugar. I know how terrible it is for us. And one day I'll make a video on that. But it's like, I know that I don't need it on a day-to-day basis. So when I start to feel that need or that craving, it's a signal for me to go within. I'll put it that way. And so I've dealt with that, and I've also dealt with addiction to people. And today I was talking to someone about addiction who has dealt with it and has gone to meetings for it and all of that. And he told me that someone said it takes you about 2 years to be completely detached from the thing that you're addicted to for you to really kind of dig out the root of it and to feel like you truly don't need it anymore, which is a long time, because they tell us it takes 21 days to make or break a habit or whatever, but I've learned that 21 days, that's not it. And that's just for my own practice. I'm just looking at my notes, y'all, because I want to stay on topic, because I can go off on a tangent. With the withdrawal symptoms, so when you decide to, you recognize you have an addiction, you recognize that it's detrimental for you, the whole time that you're doing it, that it's dangerous, that it's a threat to your health and your well-being, and ultimately that you can't keep doing this thing forever. And so at some point, you should probably stop. But that's easier said than done, because it becomes a chemical dependency. Like, your body is used to these hormones, your body is used to that altered state. And so you become dependent on it. And if you do it enough, it becomes your new normal, to the point where when you're not indulging in those things, you don't even feel like yourself. You don't feel alive. And so people need this adrenaline rush, or they need this, or they need that thing to make them feel alive. And that's when you know that you're addicted, because you're truly completely dependent at that point on something outside of yourself. So when you decide you want to quit, I always recommend, no matter what addiction it is, go slow. Think of that baby example. Wean yourself off slowly. Don't try to go cold turkey unless you have some serious willpower. Serious willpower. And I've done it, because it's like I've grown that muscle. But don't go cold turkey. For one, especially if it's alcohol, you can die. certain drugs. Like, you have to wean yourself off of it. Long story short, you can look into it, find somebody who's truly a professional at it, and get some help with that process. But I don't recommend going cold turkey on anything because it's a shock to the system. And if it's a chemical dependency, that can be very dangerous for your body overall. And I don't feel like it's sustainable. And so if you decide, or when you decide that you're ready to make a change in your life, get some professional help and go slow. And know that it's going to be a process. Let's get into the resolution, or like dealing with the trying to get rid of it, since we're already kind of on the topic. The first thing I say is you have to have realistic expectations, right? If you've been smoking cigarettes for 30 something odd years, or you've been, indulging in your addiction for however, even months, you're addicted, right? So with that in mind, you have to understand, okay, so now I'm in this state where my body, my mind, my comfort has become needy on this thing. And I'm ready to stop it. You have to be realistic, and you have to be gentle with yourself and remind yourself and really drill into your head at the very start of it. This is kind of setting the stage for it. This is going to be hard. It's going to be rocky. It's not going to look like, oh, I'm going to quit today and I'm never going to do it again. 9 times out of 10, you repeat the behavior. But each time you feel that urge and you fight against it, each time you feel that urge and you remember why you decided to go on the journey of cutting out the addiction in the first place, the tie, it gets severed little by little. Inch by inch is a cinch. So that's the way I think of it. Every time, it's like flexing a muscle, working out a muscle of willpower and of determination to stick to what you know is best for you. And which, oddly enough, we know things are good for us and we know things are bad for us, and we still choose to make the decisions that aren't always in our best interests. And that's just part of the human experience. But in the very beginning, set that expectation. Be very realistic about what the process is going to look like. And I even recommend reaching out to someone, or finding somebody who's been in your shoes and who has made it to where you want to go, to be like a guide or like a mentor or just a friend to lean on. Because that's the other thing you need, along with the realistic expectations and acceptance that it's going to be a process and a journey, that it won't be pretty and won't be a straight course. You need to have a support system. You have to have a support system when you're dealing with serious addictions in general. Anything that you've become dependent on in your life, you need help getting away from it. And don't feel weak because you need help. We all need help. And it's honestly strength in admitting that itself. Admitting that, yes, I need somebody to lean on from time to time. And it's not using them as a crutch. It's just knowing that as humans, we are social animals. We need to live in a community where we feel loved and supported, and we feel safe, because when we feel safe, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are levels to this. I don't own rights to those lyrics, but there are levels to it. And so when we don't feel comfortable and we don't feel safe, we can't even focus on getting to a higher state of consciousness, which is ultimately why we're here as humans. So know that it's okay to need somebody to lean on. And I'm putting myself out there as, if you can't find anybody that's been in your shoes, or if you're just not comfortable with it and for some reason you're comfortable with me, please reach out. My email is going to be in the description box below. And the last thing I really want to touch on is that the only thing that's really going to free you from an addiction is healing. That's bottom line. That's the only thing, because when you're healed, you no longer have anything you're running from or you're trying to run from. So when you're ready to stop the addiction, be ready to face that pain and go through the healing. And know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and know that you're not the only one that's dealt with this problem. You're not the only one that's been in your seat, and that it's been overcome. It's been overcome time and time again. So if they can do it, you can do it. I've done it. So many people I've known have done it. You can definitely do it. So believe that and see that you're made of the same stuff. You're made of the same stuff. It's just about commitment to the process and to the journey, and knowing that you can make it to the other side, and having people there to help you out. So I believe in you, and I love you, and I want good things for you, and I want you to truly be free. And the only way to truly be free is to heal. That's the only way to true freedom, because you're no longer tormented up here. And you look up and you become a totally different person. But it all starts with the realization that you have an addiction, the decision to start to cut that out of your life, and the commitment to the process with the realistic expectations, the support system, etc. So I'm making myself available now. If you guys, just in general, if you need life advice, it can be anything from relationships to what to do about a career path. Anything you're struggling with or you're on the fence about, and you feel like I can give you a word of love, or just an offering of whatever you need in that moment, I'm opening myself up for that. So my name, my email address will be in the description box below. And I've been guided. This is going to be something to say, but I've been guided to start energy healing. So it's not going to look traditional by any means. And if you decide to go on that journey with me, I'll let you know exactly what to expect, or roughly what to expect, because that journey brings up some things that nobody can truly anticipate. I'm just going to be real with you. But being someone who has healed herself, I know that it's possible. And I know that the only way for you to heal is for you to heal you. We all have healing capabilities. We are all healers. It's just about taking that responsibility to do it for you. I can't heal you, but I can show you the way. I can kind of help guide you there using what I've used and the people who continue to guide me on a daily basis. So if you're interested in that as well, please email me. It's in the description box below. Also, if you want advice, feel free to send it through an anonymous email. Make you a fake Yahoo address or a Hotmail, or what's the other one? It was Hotmail, I think. AOL. Make you an old account, or a new account, or whatever, something anonymous if you want to keep it anonymous, and we will just have correspondence via email. If you are interested and you are comfortable with me knowing who you are, we will set up calls. Like whatever it needs to look like to work for you, we will make it work. I'm willing, I'm very flexible, and I'm offering it right now as a free service. Like I don't want to charge for something like this, not right now. If it becomes like very demanding on my time to the point where I feel like I'm making a difference more than I am in my day job, which, you know, it's like, okay, then I have to charge because I got to eat, you know. But as of now, services are completely free of charge. It's just from the kindness of my heart and what the vision that I see for this earth. I want healing. I want ascension. I want the highest self for everybody to experience. So this is my offering to y'all, to the world. And this is what I feel like I am being led to do. So please reach out. Don't feel like it's a burden. It's 120,000% confidential, because I know that nobody needs to know your business. I'm very private, very private. So it will be kept between us. It's nobody's business. And don't feel weak for needing a little something to lean on, okay? And the last thing I want to say is follow me on IG. I finally made my page public. It is The Taj Factor, just like my YouTube name. And if you like what you see when you browse my page, look at my highlights and all that good stuff, you really get to dive deeper into me as a person and to just experience me on a daily basis most of the time. So if you want more of me, you can find me on IG. And if you're interested in any of the things that I mentioned previously, feel free to reach out. Other than that, thank y'all so much for sticking with me through this long video yet again. I love y'all so very much. Like from the bottom of my heart, I really feel like y'all are helping me carry out my purpose. So every time you come back and watch a video, it's like, it means so much to me. It means so much to me. And I just want y'all to know that it's not about ever like being monetized is not the goal. It's not why I decided to do this. I do well in my work, in my full-time job. I'm able to take care of myself, but I created this channel for it to be a safe space, and a space where it can just be a little more, you get a little more guidance and a little more clarity and a little more comfort knowing that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. So hopefully my intention is actually what you guys are getting from this channel. It seems so far that it is. I will continue to make content that I am guided to do based on my life experiences and what I see people around me facing, and hopefully it continues to benefit people in a major way. If you enjoy my videos, please share them, because the world needs healing. The world, it needs it. And so if you feel like you've benefited at all, please share with a close friend or family member who may be in need of one of my video topics. And if not, if you have any suggestions on how I can make it better or something that you would like to see, please let me know. And soon there will be travel vlogs. Yay! But until next time, y'all, I love you so much. You can do this. You can do this. And I'm here for you. Okay? Peace.